Evan Hale never planned to stand in front of a queen. He never planned to touch royal armor. He was only a human mechanic, sent to fix broken lights inside the Valkyrian Royal Hall. But fate did not care about his simple plans. The hall was full of noise when he entered. Dozens of alien engineers moved around the queen, Seraphine. Her armor, a living creature of metal and energy, had cracked during a sacred ceremony. Everyone was shouting orders. Some blamed each other. Some prayed. Some were too scared to even look at the queen. For the Valkyrian Empire, a damaged royal armor was a terrible sign. It was said the armor protected the queen's life and heart. If it cracked, the kingdom's future cracked with it. Evan stayed quiet and watched. He knew he should keep his head down. But when the queen walked past him, something strange happened. Her armor pulsed with light, soft, warm, and almost alive. The glow moved toward Evan like it recognized him. Everyone froze. A minister whispered, "Why is the armor reacting to a human?" A guard shouted, "Step back. Do not move." But the armor kept glowing stronger. Evan felt a soft pull, almost like the armor was calling him. His heartbeat raced. He knew touching royal armor was forbidden. In Valkyrian culture, only chosen partners could touch it. Anyone else would be punished, or worse. Yet the armor kept reaching toward him. Seraphine looked at him with sharp, curious eyes. She had never seen her armor act like this. No engineer, no noble, no warrior could repair it. But this human, the armor wanted him. Evan swallowed hard. I'm just a mechanic, he whispered. But the pull became stronger. Slowly, against every rule, he raised his hand. He barely touched the cracked line on the armor. And the impossible happened. The armor lit up like a small sun. The crack sealed itself instantly, smooth and perfect. The hall turned silent. No one breathed. Even the queen stood still in shock as the armor wrapped a soft glow around Evan, as if thanking him. Then a single voice from the back shouted, "Groom, Groom, the armor has chosen its groom." More voices joined. Impossible. A human? The prophecy? No, this cannot be. Evan stepped back, confused and scared. Wait, no. I didn't do anything. But the armor kept defending him. A guard tried to approach, and the armor flashed, stopping him. Ministers backed away with fear. The queen stepped closer, studying Evan carefully. Her voice was calm but powerful. "Human, my armor accepted your touch," she said. "Why?" He shook his head. "I don't know." The queen's eyes softened, but her tone carried the weight of a kingdom. "Then you must find out," she said, "because from this moment, the Empire will question your destiny." And that was how Evan's ordinary life ended, and the life of a queen's chosen groom began. Evan Hale had never felt so many eyes on him. Ministers, guards, scholars, soldiers. Everyone stared like he carried the fate of the entire kingdom in his hands. The armor still glowed faintly around him, keeping a soft shield between him and the crowd. He wanted to run, but there was nowhere to go. Two guards stepped forward again, but the armor flashed warning light. They stopped immediately. Queen Seraphine raised her hand. "No one will touch him," she ordered. Her voice was calm but sharp enough to cut steel. The armor made a choice. "We do not interfere." Evan felt panic rising inside him. "Your Majesty, please, there's been a mistake. I don't want any title. I only fix machines." The hall erupted into whispers. A human refusing royal honor? Does he even understand what this means? How can the chosen one decline the bond? Seraphine watched him closely. She found his fear honest, but also strange. Most beings would beg for this honor. The bond with the queen's armor meant power, respect, and protection for life. Yet this human looked like he wanted to disappear. "Evan Hale," the queen said, stepping closer, "you touched my armor. It accepted you. The people call you Groom. Do you deny the bond?" "Yes," Evan said quickly. "I deny it. I don't want trouble. I just want to go back to work." His voice echoed through the hall. Silence followed, then anger. A senior minister stepped forward. His skin glowed silver with age and authority. "Human, he said harshly. You cannot refuse. The armor's choice is law. You must be tested. You must be studied. You must be... The armor flared again, stopping in mid-sentence. Everyone stepped back. Seraphine's eyes narrowed at the minister. He will not be forced. The minister bowed stiffly, but his eyes were full of hate. Your Majesty, if a human becomes your bondmate, the council will rebel. The generals will protest. The nobles will riot. This kingdom does not accept outsiders in the royal line. Evan felt even more panic. He didn't want to be the reason for a war. Please, he whispered, just let me leave. Seraphine turned to him slowly. Her voice softened, almost gentle. If I let you leave, the council will hunt you. They will try to break you. To understand the armor's reaction, you will never be safe again. Evan froze. He had never thought about that. The queen looked at her guards. Escort him to the guest chambers. No chains. No weapons near him. He is under my protection. The armor glowed softly, agreeing with her words. As the guards guided Evan out of the hall, he heard more whispers behind him. He refuses a queen. He is either foolish or brave, or the prophecy is true. But the last voice chilled him. If he refuses now, the armor may punish him later. Evan didn't know what destiny waited for him. But one thing was clear. Running away was no longer an option. Evan barely slept that night. The guest chamber looked more like a royal prison. Soft walls, glowing lights, guards outside every door. No chains, but no freedom either. He kept replaying the moment in the hall. The flash, the voices, the word Groom. He still hoped the queen would change her mind by morning. But destiny had other plans. At sunrise, the queen's captain, a tall warrior named Rael, entered the chamber. His armor was dark blue, marked with battle scars. He looked at Evan with cold, unreadable eyes. Human, Rael said, you are ordered to present yourself in the trial arena. Evan stood quickly. Trial? What trial? I told the queen I don't want any title. Rael didn't blink. The queen allowed you safety, but the council demands tests. If the armor truly chose you, you will pass. If not, the bond breaks, and you may return to your life. Evan felt a small spark of hope. So if I fail, I go home? Rael nodded. Yes, but if you fail too badly, you may also die. The trials are not gentle. Hope vanished. He was escorted into the arena, a massive circular hall with floating platforms, glowing runes, and hundreds of Valkyrian citizens watching from above. The sound of their whispers filled the air. That is the human? He looks weak. How could the queen's armor choose that? Evan tried not to listen. He already knew he stood no chance in alien tests designed for warriors. The queen arrived shortly after, her armor glowing softly. She looked at Evan with calm eyes. Not pity, not anger, just careful interest. Evan hail. She said, these are the trials of worthiness. They measure mind, courage, and heart, not strength alone. That's good, Evan muttered, because I don't have alien strength. Seraphine almost smiled. Pass 3 tests, and the bond is accepted by law. Fail and you're free. The council members looked annoyed. They wanted him to fail. Some wanted him to die. Evan saw it clearly. The first trial began, the maze of shifting light. A huge platform lit up under Evan's feet. Walls moved around him in spirals of blue light. The maze kept changing shape every few seconds. The rule was simple. Find the exit before the maze collapses. Most Valkyrian warriors use speed. Evan didn't have any. But he had something else. Observation. He noticed a pattern. Every time the light turned red, the walls paused for half a second. That half second was enough to plan his next move. While the crowd expected him to panic, he stayed calm. He counted the seconds. He moved only when it was safe. Slowly, carefully, he reached the center where a glowing door appeared. The arena fell silent as he stepped through the exit. Rael's eyes widened. Even the queen looked impressed. A council member hissed, He solved it with strategy? Seraphine spoke softly. The first trial is passed. Evan breathed hard, exhausted but alive. He knew one thing now. He might be weak, But he was not stupid, and the Empire was beginning to realize it too. Evan passed the first trial, but the arena did not cheer for him. The Valkyrian people were silent, confused, and a little afraid. A human should not have passed anything. Not in their world. Not in their culture. But the queen looked calm, almost proud. The second trial was moments away when the giant arena doors suddenly burst open. A tall figure entered, towering, armored, and radiating raw power. His armor was black and lined with burning red cracks, like molten lava lived beneath it. Whispers filled the stands instantly. It's General Vorik, the queen's rival. He wants the throne. Why is he here? Vorik's voice echoed like thunder. Seraphine, I challenge your decision. A human cannot be your groom. This insult ends today. Evan felt cold fear in his chest. Vorik's eyes alone made him look like he could snap 10 humans with one hand. The queen stepped forward. The armor made its choice. You have no authority here. Vorik laughed. The armor is damaged, confused, or manipulated. His burning eyes locked onto Evan. Let me test the human. If he survives, I will accept your decision. If he dies, the throne returns to tradition. Evan whispered to himself, why does everyone want me dead? Seraphine's armor glowed sharply, reacting to Vorik's aggression. She looked at Evan, then at the council. Before she could speak, the council leader raised his hand. General Vorik's request is accepted. The crowd gasped. Evan felt the world tilt. Accepted? What? No. Seraphine turned sharply. The trial is mine to command. But the council leader bowed mockingly. Your Majesty, you allowed the human a chance at freedom. Now the general demands a chance at fairness. Vorik smiled, a cruel, hungry smile. Do not worry, Queen. I will not kill him quickly. Evan felt all blood leave his face. Rael, the Queen's captain, stepped between Vorik and Evan. If you harm him outside the rules, I will end you myself. Vorik only shrugged. I follow tradition. He faces me in the combat trial. Evan almost fainted. Combat? No combat. I don't even know how to punch properly. But the crowd roared with excitement. They wanted blood, drama, chaos. They wanted to see the human fall. The queen took a step closer to Evan. Her voice was low. I cannot stop this. But listen to me. Vorik fights with strength. You must fight with something else. Evan tried to laugh. Like, what? My fear. She looked at him with surprising softness. Your mind, your instincts, those saved you before. They may save you again. Vorik slammed his weapon into ground. Begin the trial. Evan's heart pounded like a drum. He stepped into the battle circle. His legs shook. His hands trembled. The crowd waited. Vorik charged, and Evan realized something terrifying. This was not a trial. This was an execution. Vorik's charge came like a storm. The arena floor shook under his steps, and every spectator leaned forward, expecting the human to fall in the first second. Evan barely had time to move. He threw himself to the side, rolling across the ground as Vorik's strike cracked the stone where he had been standing. The crowd roared. Some cheered for Vorik. Some screamed for Evan to run. But no one believed he could survive for long. Vorik lifted his weapon again. Stop running, human. Accept your fate. Evan didn't answer. He was too busy staying alive. Every swing of Vorik's massive blade sent sparks across the arena. Evan ducked, crawled, jumped, using every ounce of panic in his body to stay ahead. But even with fear helping him move, he knew he couldn't dodge forever. Vorik was too big, too strong, too fast for his size. Evan's lungs burned. His legs trembled. One mistake, and it would all end. Then something strange happened. The queen's armor, still glowing faintly, pulsed in rhythm with Evan's heartbeat. Seraphine, watching from the high platform, felt the pulse inside her chest. Rael turned to her. Your Majesty, the armor is reacting again. Seraphine stared at the battlefield. It responds as fear, not because he is weak, but because the armor senses danger. Vorik lunged again, and Evan tripped, falling hard onto the ground. Dust filled his mouth. His vision blurred. Vorik lifted his weapon high, ready for the final strike. The crowd held its breath. Evan whispered, "I'm dead," but before the blade could fall, the Queen's armor exploded with light. A beam shot downward, wrapping Evan in a shimmering sphere. Vorik's attack hit the shield and bounced back violently. The giant general stumbled, shocked. The arena erupted in gasps. What is happening? The armor protects him now? Impossible. That bond is for royals only. Evan sat inside the shield wide-eyed as the glowing energy hummed around him. He felt warmth, safety, and something else. A connection. Seraphine looked stunned. "The armor is not confused," she said slowly. "It is revealing its purpose." Rael frowned. "Purpose? The armor does not simply protect a queen," Seraphine said. "It protects her chosen guardian, her balance, her anchor." Her eyes widened. It sensed a threat to the one it selected. That is why it healed, why it reacted, why it chose him. Evan didn't understand the ancient rules, but even he realized something big had just changed. Vorik roared in frustration. "Magic tricks. The armor is broken. It should not protect a stranger." Seraphine answered quietly but firmly. "It is not protecting a stranger. It is protecting its match." The shield faded slowly, leaving Evan back in the open, trembling but alive. Vorik tried to rush forward again, but the arena lights flashed red, signaling the end of the trial. Rael announced, "The human survives." The armor interfered. "This is a sign of true bond." The council murmured with fear. Vorik clenched his fists, humiliated. Evan, still shaking, whispered to himself, "What am I becoming in this world?" But deep inside the armor's glow, the answer was already forming. He was becoming exactly who the kingdom needed. The arena stayed silent long after the combat trial ended. No one cheered. No one argued. Everyone simply stared at Evan, the human who had survived a general, solved a sacred maze, and been protected by the Queen's armor itself. Evan didn't feel like a hero. He felt tired, confused, and scared. But something inside him had changed. The Queen stepped down from her royal platform and walked toward him. Every guard and minister bowed as she passed. When she reached Evan, the armor glowed again, bright and warm, almost happy. Seraphine studied him quietly. "Evan Hale, you survived what even warriors fear. You stood against Vorik. You passed every test." Evan shook his head tiredly. "I didn't win anything. I just didn't die." The Queen gave a small smile, rare for her. Survival in this empire is not weakness, human. Sometimes it is the greatest strength. The council gathered behind her, whispering nervously. One council member finally spoke. "Your Majesty, the armor has spoken clearly. The bond is real," another grumbled. "But he is still human." Seraphine turned sharply. "And yet he is the only one the armor accepts. Tradition must bend when destiny is stronger." Vorik tried one last time to fight the result. His voice was full of anger. "This is a mistake. Let me challenge him again." Rael stepped in front of Vorik, weapon drawn. "Enough. The trials are completed. The Queen has chosen. Or should I say, the armor has chosen." Evan watched all this with disbelief. He felt like he was standing inside a dream he didn't ask for. Seraphine turned to him again. The entire arena watched, holding its breath. "Evan Hale," she said softly, "do you accept the bond that the armor has formed?" Evan hesitated. He thought of Earth, of his quiet workshop, his simple life. He thought of danger, of Vorik, of the trials. He knew that returning home meant running for the rest of his life. The council would never leave him alone. Then he looked at the Queen. She did not treat him like a tool. She did not treat him like a pet. She looked at him with respect, something he rarely received even from his own world. Slowly, he exhaled. "I accept," he said. The armor pulsed like a heartbeat. A soft ring of light wrapped around both Evan and the Queen. It rose into the air, circling them slowly, binding their destinies. The arena gasped. The bond is complete. He accepted. The human is the Queen's chosen groom. The word spread like wildfire. Groom, groom, Groom. But this time, the voices were not mocking. They were amazed, awed, hopeful. Vorik stormed out of the arena, defeated. The council bowed reluctantly. Rael gave Evan a respectful nod. Seraphine extended her hand. Welcome to the royal path, Evan Hale. A path no one expected, but the one destined for you. Evan took her hand. He was no longer a simple mechanic. No longer an outsider. No longer afraid. He was the Queen's chosen partner. The groom no kingdom expected, but the one they would never forget.